Hi everyone, it's Chris from Stamp Blessings, and I'm here just a few minutes late, but it's 1:03 Eastern Time, and I'm back for my Wednesday workshop. So today we're going to be focusing on beautiful butterflies. It's a new to me set, and I have been having so much fun playing with it. But just before I get started, I want to give you a quick reminder that Celebration ends in 2 more days. So the 28th is the last day that you can get a hold of all of these freebies with a $60 order, or you could level up with a $120 order. And if you're not thrilled about the freebies in this catalog, Stampin' Up! Rolled out some other items that are free, including you could pick up this beautiful butterfly stamp set for free. So it's really incredible. Check out the celebration, ends February 28th. Be sure to check out this mini catalog. It is probably the mini catalog, and the online exclusives are my favorite to date. And I have about 10 catalogs yet looking for a home. So if you need a catalog, be sure to message me. So you can either send me a direct message. You could email me at chris@stampblessings.com. If you have my cell phone number, text me. But let's go ahead and get started with today's shaped card. And it is so pretty, it's so fun, and so easy. And I'm going to just bring it up a little bit closer just to show you how wonderful that is. I'm already looking around though, and I have realized that I think I don't have everything up here that I need. Even though I was prepping, I was running a little bit late. Mom had a physical therapy appointment today, and yep, I think that I am missing some stuff. Part of the butterfly. Well, let's get started, and then you'll see me disappear really quick. I wish this is where I could play some music, but I'm going to be right back as I go down there and get those 2 items that I need. Stay tuned. And I'm back. All right. Phew. So I want to just tell you that I started with a piece of Heather Highland, and it is so pretty. I just love this color wheel, and I kind of use that to get started with what colors that I want. So this is the Highland Heather. I think I just reversed that when I said that, but Highland Heather. And for this shape card, you have this really cool die that comes in the bundle. I'm going to bring it a little bit closer and see if you can see that right there, yep, and right there is a line, and those are your fold lines. So let me show you how that works. You want to fold your cardstock in half. And then go ahead and bring your trusty die cutter. And I am going to line that up right on the edge here, so that, if you can see that, the line matches that fold. Now, to make sure it doesn't shift around, I like to sometimes use a little bit of washi tape, because just even in setting it down, I've already moved it a little bit. And I'm going to just really secure that. Now, one of the tips when you're using your die cutting plates is to go ahead and make sure that they stagger through. So you don't want them perfectly lined up on the edge here. You want to kind of stagger it, and then it can feed in. And I'm going to just go ahead and crank that through. Kind of support the table there so we're not wobbling all over the place. All right. And let's see how that worked out. Get some scrap. And that is perfect. So sometimes you might have a little bit of an edge here that you can just take your scissors and trim off and even it off, but that came out perfect. Because I'm going to use mine as a note card, I went ahead and already off camera, I die cut just a white layer. And so this is what I'm talking about, that you can just trim it out to go ahead and have it lay flat. So I just want to go ahead and go right up to there. Maybe trim that little notch. And here it was pretty close, I got pretty close. Now I want to dry fit it before I put the glue on it though. And look at how perfect that is. So, love it. But this way when I open it up, I have my little layer and I could even ink something in there in a little bit. Let's go ahead and attach it so that's one thing down, but all right. I just have the glue so that I can move it around for just a second. Make sure all those wings and antenna are attached well. Perfect. So now I want to have this stamp set here, this beautiful butterfly, so much detail. I'm going to stamp him tone on tone, and it just gives a little bit of the detail behind this cut, the die cut. So it gives it more dimension. Now there are some other little stamps in here. I could also put in these little details, and they would be pretty too. But I haven't prepped that, so, and then I have these little dots. So I'm going to stick with what I did before. And I'm going to go ahead and ink it up. And I really like the tone on tone look. And then I'm just going to come down. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's going to be covered up partially with the next step, which is the die cut. So I really like the bundle, and I wanted to let you know that it is running low inventory if you get the bundle that includes this hybrid embossing plate. And when we're done, after I create this card, I'm going to show you a little bit about this embossing plate, but it is gorgeous. But there is the same butterfly that we're kind of working on right now. And I have a great butterfly that I've been working on. I was kind of torn what to share with you today's project. So I will tell you, when I saw this paper as part of the, let's see, this is called Mixed Media Florals. I love this paper pack. It's so pretty. But when I saw this pink splotchy one, I did kind of do a little ugh inside. And I thought, I will never use that. Maybe I'll use the green side. But then, once I die cut this beautiful purple, I started to think, hey, that might complement it. So I went ahead and I cut out a little piece, which I then die cut this. And you've already seen my prop on the side here. But I die cut it, and it is so pretty. It's just the right amount then of color on this butterfly. Now, the other fun thing was that the beautiful boho paper matches this as well. So I die cut the little inside of the butterfly. So that I did prepare off camera, just because I didn't want you to have to wait too long. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this to right here. So that's kind of nice because you can have it with or without. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach that one more time there. So this comes together really, really quickly. I could just see doing an assembly line. So now I want to stamp my sentiment. And let's see, did I bring paper up? Probably not. So let's see here. I have to tell you that today is just kind of a funny day. Here we go. We're just going to use this here because that's going to work great. So I'm going to use the Time to Celebrate from the Beautiful Butterflies, and I'll ink it up in that Highland Heather. And I'm just going to stamp it right here, and then I'll go ahead and fussy cut it. And actually, the nice thing is now that I'm using the back of my paper pack, this has got some nice firmness to it. So when I pop it up, it's gonna look really, really good. Now, I don't know how you feel about fussy cutting words. Sometimes it's kind of tricky, but I like to leave just like a 1/4 of an inch border. So I just take my time and go in, and then it's important to turn your paper and just kind of go with it. And there I saw some of the letters were going down, so I'm just not being too particular. Just kind of roughly going around where I see that. And then coming around to the top. So this was one set that really caught my eye at the beginning of the new release, but I was like, oh, Chris, you have lots of butterflies. You don't really need it. But then I started seeing more and more examples online, and I just, you know how it goes. I needed it. So that came out really good. And now to finish it off, I'm going to just pop it up. Now on my sample here, I did cut a little bit closer so I could go back and trim it. And then I put a little bit of some sheer coral ribbon that I had on hand. But I think I'm going to get some silver twine that I have. I did decide that I want to just try and trim this out a little bit more. So you can always go back and do more, you just can't do less, right? So that it's important to just kind of take your time and do a good job. There we go. So that's already a little bit better. And I think I'm going to come up even from this E into the T. There we go. So you can really trim as much as you want or as little. I'm going to go ahead and pop up this sentiment, and then I'll be able to just tuck some twine in. But I love this. And I was thinking you could even put like a little chocolate bar right in there. So then when you give it to somebody, there's a little chocolate, maybe a Twix bar or a Hershey nugget, something that's a little bit flatter. That would be perfect. All right. But look at how quickly this came together. I just love it. I want to make sure that it's kind of centered. And there we go. So that's how quick this shaped card turned out. And what's nice about this is it will fit in a regular A2 envelope, so no troubles there. Well, I promised you a little bit of a show on this Stampin' Cut and Emboss folder. And I created this beautiful butterfly with watercolor paper and some distress ink. And then I went back over it with Versamark and some black embossing powder. And I just think that that is just so striking. So I'm just going to show you a little bit really quick how this cut and emboss plate works, because these are hybrids and you might not have seen them before. With the stamp cut and emboss, I love that the plates tell me how to make the sandwiches. So I know for embossing, I need now just the black plate. Okay, so I'll go ahead, and this is quite a large embossing folder, but I'm going to put my watercolor paper just where I want it over this big butterfly. And I could either pre-cut it, but then I found it was a little bit tough to match it up, so I'm going to just put it in like this. And I want to make sure that the fold of my embossing folder right here goes in first. So I'm going to show you how I do that, and then I layer my sandwich, and again I'm making sure that it's not all lined up, it's all staggered. And now I can just kind of feed this through. And this is like a 3D embossing folder, so it's quite nice. When it comes to the end, it's going to probably pop and shoot out across my table. And believe it or not, I just dropped a acrylic block on my oak chairs and did a big dinger in them. So getting ready for this. But let's go ahead and open it up and see how it looks. So that is so pretty. Even just this panel, can you imagine just watercoloring it and putting it on a base? But I do want to show you how I can cut out now this butterfly because of the way the dies work. So now I'm going to change out my plates and go back to my cutting plates. So I'll need this first thin layer, and then I have my chopped up bottom plate. And then I'm going to go ahead and lay down this embossed piece. And one of the dies that's included is right here, and that lays over perfectly. So I'm just going to take a moment to make sure it's lined up. Then I might use some washi tape again, just to make sure it's not flopping around when I go through a pass. Go ahead and line this up, and now push my... I'm really happy with this die cutting machine. I had an electric Vagabond, and that one eventually stopped cutting evenly, so it was just too much. So now I have this cut from the embossing plate. Now I will tell you what I just noticed doing it in reverse, because when I did this one here, I die cut the shape first, then I took that shape and laid it inside my embossing plate. So what I did is I lined it up like this and then kind of quick closed it. The ridges on this, because it didn't go through the die cutting machine, are much more prevalent than on this here. So that's just now a note that I just learned by doing it live on camera. You're going to keep much more texture if you die cut the shape first and then emboss, versus what I just did, emboss and then die cut. But then to get this butterfly here, all I did was take some Distress ink, and then I just kind of inked it on. I'm going to just show you that really quickly. I did splatter it with water afterwards and then dab that up before I went ahead and black embossed it. I'm just going to get some color on this butterfly real quick just to show you how easy it is to really add that color. And I was inspired with this blue butterfly because I picked up a book on butterflies from the library that they were tossing. You know how sometimes they get rid of books? But this one was filled with pictures and just beautiful butterflies. And I was like, oh, this is going to come in handy when I want to color butterflies. And so sure enough, a blue one really caught my eye. And I was inspired to make this blue butterfly, and it did have this black edging on its wings, and that's just so pretty. So this is just so simple and quick. You could sponge on any kind of ink really that you have. I like this because it allows me then to maybe splatter it, or I could put put some on a craft pad, spritz it with some water, and dunk this butterfly in there too for a totally different look. And this butterfly is coming out different than my last one, but that's what's kind of neat. I love those two pops of white right there, and I'm going to make sure I keep that. But I just wanted to show you how beautiful this embossing folder is, and that it just gives you a whole nother technique. So be sure, if you want to check out that bundle, like I said, it's on low stock, so low inventory, so I'm not sure how much longer that will be in and available. But if you want it, now is the time to get it during our celebration. Well, thanks for tuning in on how to make this shape card with the beautiful butterflies. I was able to show you how I used the stamp set and the die cuts that matched it, and then how that embossing folder really creates these works of art like that. And you know what? I thought I was going to stamp on the inside, and let's do that really quick before I go. It says time to celebrate on the outside, and I think I'm going to just put this little tiny butterfly in on the inside. That way I don't have to write a lot of message, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and ink that up really quick. I'm still used to my close to my heart days when I would season my new stamps on the back of my hand, and I haven't used this one yet, so I definitely want to do that. All right, there we go. Time to celebrate. Perfect. Well, thanks for tuning in, and be sure to leave me a message if you have any comments or questions. I'd love to hear from you. I don't usually do shout outs while I'm taping. I just get too focused, but I always come back and answer any of your questions or comments. And be sure to like and subscribe to my videos. Thanks. We'll see you later. We'll see you next Wednesday when I have my card kits for March. Oh, I can't wait to share those with you. Guess what? Hint, hint. It's all about beautiful butterflies.